I'm going to tell you a story and it'll explain itself later. You go outside to go to work in the middle of the winter, and it's freaking cold outside, but you have a lot of stuff to do. And, you know, after a while your hands start to hurt, but, you know, never mind. Don't pay attention to it because, like I said, you've got things to do, other things to focus on. And then you finally, you know, eventually get the chance to go inside, take off your gloves, and you're like, oh my freaking God, look at my hands. Panic ensues. You know, you go in and have it taken care of, and then afterwards, you know, you're like, get a little nervous to go back outside and go to work again, and you're like, okay, how's my hands? Do I need, you know, where's my gloves? You know, maybe I need another pair of gloves because, you know, you don't want it to happen again. You're trying to prevent it. And that is exactly how depression and anxiety play hand in hand with one another. And that is also how your extroverted and introverted functions, you know, work within your mind. Your extroverted functions will have the tendency to ignore things, you know, because they're just too busy in the moment. And eventually, when you metaphorically go in and take off your gloves and, you know, things catch up with you, you're like, oh my freaking God, you know, it leaves a huge aftermath that you have to clean up, which is going to have a tendency to lead to depression because you're having to deal with a giant mess that you have no idea how to cope with or how to handle. And then your introverted functions would be the ones that freak out when it happens, and they're like, oh my God, you know, I need more gloves, you know, what do I do? How do I prevent it? They're the response, the panic button that happens, you know, when things go wrong, and it can go too far extreme the other way. The next thing you know, you've got, you know, some kind of an anxiety or obsessive compulsive behavior or something is awry because it went too far from ignoring all the way over to completely overwhelming panic. So look within your function stack and remember how the dominants and the inferiors help each other out. They create that balance. So have them work together as a team as they were designed to do, and it will help alleviate that natural tendency within extroversion to lead to eventual depression and introversion to lead to eventual anxiety, you know, or phobias, or, you know, those whole, oh, I got to prevent it thing. You know, it keeps that pendulum, you know, from going extreme one way all the way to the other, and it helps find that nice balance. So, yeah, of course, with some depressions and anxieties, you know, it has nothing to do with function stack. It's a chemical that's gone awry in your brain that was just there all along. There's nothing you can do for it. But I'm talking about like the situational ones, you know, the things are caused by your environment and ways that you can either head it off, you know, stop it once it starts, or even prevent it. And then if you get stuck in that rut, you know, look at your responses. Am I stuck in panic, you know, prevention mode? Never going to let that happen again. You know, that's extreme. You know, that's too far the other way. Find that happy balance back into the outside snow, but just be more mindful of it, you know. You know, take those preventative steps and being aware of what you're getting involved in. And, you know, and don't go extreme the other way, just flat out, I'm too busy to pay attention to it, because now you know, the consequences, the eventual aftermath might be a little high sometimes, and an overwhelming mess to clean up. So just be mindful of it, and like I said, this has to do with, you know, when, you know, your anxieties and your depressions and your phobias and your amnesia and stuff are brought on by your environment, not necessarily things that you're born with the chemicals in your brain. Two totally different subjects, but hope you find this of use, and I'll talk with you later. Goodbye.